I've read everything you've put out there in The Athletic, really ever, but especially this week. You had some trade ideas. I want to start with one that you came up with for the Mets and the Yankees and let everyone know these aren't actual talks. This is an idea from someone who has done this for a while, but give us what you got.
Yeah, so I think you're referring to the Yankees Mets deal, Jason Dominguez for Mark Vientos. Is that the one you're
Yep.
referring to, or was it
Yeah.
Grisham for Beatty? Okay, so either way, so this is what I'm hearing, right? Like, the Yankees are pursuing Eugenio Suarez, like a lot of teams are. Five other teams are pursuing him. We get that. Not a great defender at third base, but if he does get traded, which is still a question mark, we're not going to know until next week. There's no promise that the Yankees can pick him up, and so they've looked around the other third baseman available, Ryan McMahon in Colorado, right? Brian Hayes over there in Pittsburgh. Neither one of them really tickles their fancy for understandable reasons. And so, how do the Yankees make a contender for contender trade to kind of solve the third base situation for them? And so, I came up with the idea of Jason Dominguez going to the Mets for Vientos. Two similar talents. Change of scenery might help both guys. For the Yankees, they've got Bellinger, Grisham, and Judge in the outfield, and Spencer Jones is ready. He's hit 26 homers in the minor leagues. He's been on base at a 40% clip all year. He's made incredible adjustments. And quite frankly, the minute the Yankees promote Jones, they're going to have a better team. That may end up being one of the best acquisitions they make at the deadline, is just calling him up from AAA. So because of the outfield depth, I kind of feel like maybe they could take an outfielder, turn it into a third baseman. And if it's not the Mets, maybe it's the Royals and Michael Garcia, the all-star third baseman. But it may end up being a contender for contender type of trade where they trade from some depth in the outfield to try to get a third baseman. So that was my thinking behind it.
Hey, Jim, I love that because I haven't thought about that at all. You just made me audible from my original question because I know a lot has been said about Ron McMahon not being liked as a Yankee. I know a lot of that has to do with the contract, but I feel like there could be, or could there be a situation where the Rockies may be willing to eat some of that to move Ron McMahon? And why wouldn't he fit in New York when you talk about that ballpark, when you talk about a guy playing meaningful baseball? And the guy's still at a age where I think we've seen already he has been an all-star. I think there's still some positive things that he could do. Why is that not a fit, or what have you heard on the reason why they don't like him?
I think they want to do better than McMahon, right? I mean, look, Ryan's not the same guy he was 3 years ago. I agree with you. I think the Rockies can pay it down. I'm not sure the front office has shown much creativity in those kind of trades, but maybe that'll change at this year's deadline. But it's just what I'm hearing, right? I stay pretty plugged into the front offices of all 30 teams, and I get the feeling that the Yankees love Suarez's power. They don't love the defense. Analytic department doesn't love Hayes or McMahon. It doesn't mean the scouts wouldn't take a chance on him. I might take a chance on him if I didn't have to give up much and the Rockies ate the contract. But, contracts matter in both McMahon's and Hayes' situation, and production the last year and a half matter when you're talking about those kind of guys. Remember, the expectations in New York is to win a World Series or bust, not just beat Toronto and win the AL East. They're trying to win a World Series, and so I think they're shooting for better. They're shooting for the Suarez or Michael Garcia or Mark Vientos or that next level above McMahon, above Hayes.
Okay, yeah, that was going to be my next question. That what would be their next best? And you said Michael Garcia, but I want to go back to the Yankees and talking about prospects and you being locked in and connected. Is it Spencer Jones to get a Eugenio Suarez or Mark? Like, who would they have to give up? Would you have to give up a major league ready guy to go get one of those guys, or is it a 40-80 grade player? I'm just curious.
Yeah, well, you're not getting Spencer Jones from the Yankees, and you're not getting George Lombard Jr. from the Yankees. So
Yeah.
just put them aside and understand that's not happening. That being said, you can get Roderick Arias as the headliner, middle infielder, really solid player. You saw them bring up Cam Skitler to join their rotation. He could get involved with Arias to try to land Suarez. That would probably be something close to what the Yankees would be willing to do. And look, the Yankees look at Arizona and say, if you do sell, we do match up well because I could use either Gallen or Merrill Kelly, and I could use Suarez. Those are my two biggest needs. And so I think the Yankees will work hard to try to do that. But under no circumstances for a 2-month rental for any of those guys I just mentioned are you getting Jones or Lombard. You're just not. And really, the Yankees need to find a pathway or a runway or have a little bit more open mind of getting Jones to the big leagues right now because he's so locked in. And it's not just the power. I mean, he's hit 10 homers since he got promoted to AAA. Like, I'm just telling you, and anyone that's seen this kid, he's got that presence, but he's got that speed power combination. And he can play all three outfield positions, all three, right? Center or left, wherever you want to put him. The big question has always been the hit tool. He used to bar with his left arm cam, and that's what made us concerned that he wouldn't hit high velo inside. He's made that adjustment. So he's not getting traded, and I think you'll see him in the big leagues either in August or September for the Yankees.